Alright, today's an exciting day. I finally got electric power steering for the Samurai. I got sick and tired of jerking the steering wheel everywhere on all those technical spots down in that tight valley. When I first got the gears in this and went and tested it, out in that super technical stuff, it was just impossible to steer. It was so difficult to steer, and it made it very hard to pick the right line. So I got the electric power steering. Alright, I think I might have to cut this off and get rid of it, which isn't a big deal. For now though, I'm going to get my steering shaft out of here and get this end piece cut off so I can weld it on that U-joint, and then I will weld the other end in this U-joint, and then all I have to build is the bracket. Alright, steering shaft is out of there.
What?
Let's see how this fits.
Oh, you don't need to let your body go. Hungry heart.
Okay, I'm gonna have to remove this. This is in the way. I'm gonna have to cut it out so I can clock it farther away from the exhaust.
It's not easy to start over. I've been there a couple of times, starting over. Know that when the night comes over you, rushes into you, you will shed that skin. Oh, it feels like a long run up here. Just stay still. Take the smallest breaths, the shortest steps. It's enough. Take it easy and let your feelings out. Don't push them aside. Don't hide. Know that when
Right at him.
the night comes over you, rushes into you, you will shed that skin. Oh, it feels like a long run up here. Just stay
Weld this whole thing.
Alright, so I cut the end of the Prius steering U-joint, or the Samurai U-joint, cut the end off, and I'm going to weld it right there to the Prius piece so I can unbolt it and bolt it. And then I milled down the, what's it called, the shaft that slides in and out. I milled it down to where it fits in the factory U-joint there, and I'm going to weld it on the outside and the inside of the U-joint. Once those are welded up, then I can work on the mounting bracket for the electric motor.
Know that when the night comes over you, rushes into you, you will shed that skin. Oh, it feels like a long run.
Alright, that's welded solid. I even welded the inside because it's going to have a lot of force. Now I'm going to go put water on this U-joint quick before all the rubber disintegrates. And now I'm going to weld that shaft to the U-joint in here.
Just stay still. Know that when the night comes over you, rushes into you, you will shed that skin. Oh, it feels like a long run up here. Just stay still. Oh, let your body go. Hungry heart, it's not easy to start over. I've been there.
That's in place. That's right where it'll be. It'll be up a tiny bit. So now I just got to build the bracket to weld to the frame.
Should be strong.
All right, I came up.
You gotta make sure this is all strong to this.
I came up with this bracket, outlined it on metal, and I got the holes punched, so I'm about to drill them. That's the bracket that's gonna weld to the frame.
Troy, do you know how to weld?
Couple of times, starting over. Know that when the night comes over you, rushes into you, you will shed that skin. Oh, it feels like a long run uphill. Just stay still.
All right, bracket's not done, but it is cut. Before I make it all smooth, finish it all off, I want to make sure it fits and bolts up. All right, got the frame ground down, got the bracket bolted in. All the bolts are tight, all the bolts here are tight. Everything's completely tight where it's going to be sitting. So now all I got to do is I'm going to tack weld this bracket in with a bunch of tacks, and then I'm going to add this gusset here right on the side like this, so it's got some front to back stability as well as side to side, and should be plenty strong, should never have an issue with it. So I'm going to tack this, pull everything out, weld it solid, then bolt it in.
Take the smallest breaths, the shortest steps. It's enough. Take it easy and let your feelings out. Don't push them aside.
All right, everything's tacked up now. See, I got that gusset there, which should help make it plenty strong. So I'm just going to unbolt everything, pull it all out, and then weld it solid. All right, I just unbolted everything, pulled it all out. Now all I've got to do is completely burn this thing in, and then all that's left is wiring.
That skin, oh, it feels like a long run uphill. Just stay rushes into you. You will shed that skin. Oh, it feels like a long run uphill.
All right, it's all the way welded in, fully burned in. Just gonna let this sit here and cool for a while, and then I'll grab the power steering, the electric motor, bolt everything in, and then I just gotta wire it.
Just stay still. Know that when the night comes over you, rushes into you, you will shed that skin. Oh, it feels like a long run uphill. Just stay still.
All right, I got everything wired up. This might look like I just twisted them together and all jank, but they have a heat shrink crimp piece in here on all of these. I just covered it up just to be extra safe, but everything's wired up. So now I'm gonna turn the key and see how it does. See, so maneuvering in and out of the driveway before was extremely difficult steering wise, and I could barely do it. Let's see. One hand I can easily turn it all the way for the lock. One hand, side to side, super easy. Alright, it's in 4 low with the hubs locked in. Before on pavement, I couldn't turn the wheel at all on the pavement when it was locked. It was impossible. So on dirt, it was extremely hard, it took all my strength, and on pavement it was impossible. So now let's see how it is on pavement. Take it out of 4-wheel drive. See, super easy one-handed. If you're looking to get power steering on your own Samurai, this is a great option, but it depends on what your setup is. If you have 33s, 35s, bigger tires, it might not be the greatest route to go just because it's electric and it's not the strongest. From what I've read, 33s, 35s, they can blow your steering box apart because it's putting the power of Hulk into a box that was never meant for it. It can burn the pumps out, the electric motors. That's from what I've read. So I only have 31s on this right now. The biggest I plan on going for now is 32s. I do plan on going up to a 32-inch mud terrain because I have all terrains and I live in Georgia. There's not a whole lot of rocks here, but there's lots of, there's rocks. Like Windrock has lots of rocks, but it's slippery, wet, muddy rocks. And these things in the sand, when I took them the other day, the wet, moist sand, they just clumped up, had no traction. I went through mud, exact same thing. It's just not a good tire for what I have around here. So one of the things I want to change pretty soon is get some 32-inch mud terrains. I'm looking at either a Maxxis Razor MT or a BF Goodrich KM3. Those are the size I want. That's really the only good 2 tires that I could find price-wise. There's others out there, but I don't really like those ones. And another thing I want to do is e-lockers, front and back. I have a Spartan locker in the front, and it is a great cheap way to get a locker in the front and go out and have a very capable Samurai, but it uses stock side gears, which in Samurais is kind of a weak point in the front axle, and it does the unlocking thing in ratchets. And every video you watch of me off-roading this, every time I take it out, it's popping and clunking. Sounds like I'm blowing Burfields to pieces, but it's just the unlocking that locker does, and I don't really like it. It makes it hard to steer and turn because it's always on. I want that e-locker so I can turn the locker off when I'm not in the super hard technical stuff. So I want to get e-lockers in this thing. I want to get bigger tires.
I need to get rock sliders, diff armor. I want to get a little thumb throttle, and I need to swap the motor out. This thing's a 3-stroke. It burns oil, gas, and coolant. I'm kind of filling it up every week or two, so I need to finish getting that 1.6 I had in. Another thing that no one talks about or is hard to find information on is what RPMs with tire size with gearing. So before I put gears in this, I could go about 70 miles an hour at 3,500 RPMs, but it struggled to have the power to do that. If you had a 1.6 or 2.0 or any of those, it would easily do it on 31s with stock transfer case gearing, but low range was horrible. Low range now is amazing. I have all the torque to crawl. It's perfect. But high range, I am now at 4,000 RPMs going about 64 miles an hour. So I like to sit at 3,500 RPMs max on the highway. That's where this thing feels comfortable. And at 3,500 RPMs, I'm only going about 58. So with the 32s, I'm hoping I'll get back up to that 65, 70 at 3,500 RPMs. But it's really hard to find information about that online. I searched and searched and searched, got multiple different answers. No one could tell me. So with 4.9s and 31s on the highway, you're sitting at about 60 at 3,500 RPMs and about 65-ish at 4,000 RPMs. So keep that in mind when you do gearing. If you go to 6.5, it's going to be even worse. You probably will be at 55 miles an hour at 4,000 RPMs on the highway. So, like and subscribe. I got a lot more coming for this. Once I get a locker in the rear, and once I swap the lockers out and I have a rear locker, I want to take this thing everywhere. And once the motor's good and I have a reliable engine that doesn't burn everything I put in it, I want to go to Windrock, take it all types of different places, wheel it. This thing on 32s with lockers front and rear should be plenty capable for anything I could throw at it in the meantime.